Alright, what's going on, guys? Trey back again here to bring you another video. This one's going to be a viewer requested video by username Daryl Dixon. I posted a walking video earlier today, and he was like, Trev, who's more badass, Daryl or Michonne in the television show? So in the comic book, Daryl is probably going to be introduced soon, but he'll be a different character than he is in the television show. Michonne is probably going to be the same in the television show season 3 and 4 and onward as she was in the comic book. I don't think they're going to write her different. I think she's going to be pretty much the same because she's a fan favorite character, similar to Daryl. But which one's a bigger badass? I think this is an interesting topic to discuss because on one hand, you've got Daryl Dixon, who's not afraid to stab people, whistle at zombies before cutting their head off or slicing them up. Saved T-Dog's life in season 2, episode 1 by pulling zombies on top of himself, which was super badass. He eats squirrels. He wears a necklace of squirrels, like a predator from Predators or any of the Predator films. He eats squirrels. Without even cooking them first, too. If he's real hungry, he'll just freaking, gut open a squirrel and just start eating away. Yeah, crazy, crazy stuff. What else badassery has Daryl committed so far? I mean, he's done a lot of badass things in the show. I mean, it's hard to just, come up. He saved Carol in the last episode we saw, season 2 finale. He... he almost took out Rick, but Rick and Shane were able to subdue him in season 1 when he grabbed that knife and he's like, "You chained my brother to a roof and you left him there." And he starts, going out with his knife and stuff, and they were able to get him down, luckily, because, well, he was all emotional and stuff too because of what he found out. Then you've got the part where there's the walker at the camp, and he's like, "Come on, guys, it's got to be the head, you know that," or something like that. You guys remember what I'm talking about? He's got his crossbow. He's taken out probably just as many zombies as anyone else in the show, maybe the most. And I think that pretty much sums up how awesome Daryl is. I mean, he's got a motorcycle. He's got a bike. That's pretty badass. I mean, if you got to be a badass if you're going to ride a motorcycle, especially in a zombie apocalypse, man, because there's just shit everywhere. If you're riding a motorcycle, and there's that badass scene, season 2, at the beginning where he's on the motorcycle and Dale asks him to go on ahead, and he's like, "Okay." And then he goes up, and then he comes back, and it's clear. You're badass when you just don't even say anything, when you're just like, and the guys know exactly what you mean. So, I mean, Daryl's pretty damn badass. I think he's about as badass as you can get. Then on the other hand, you got Michonne, who's just like, shows up. We don't know anything about her so far. Saves Andrea, cuts that zombie's head off, or in half, one of the two. I think she's meant to cut it off. She's so badass, she took her best friend and boyfriend, neutered them, cut their mouths out, and cut their arms off once they became walkers. That's pretty damn badass. She wears a raincoat type things to mask her smell, and she's been walking around by herself pretty much all this time. Just alone in the zombie apocalypse. It's pretty crazy. But the argument could be made that Daryl, is probably more safe on his own too. So that's kind of tough to say. Who is a bigger badass? Well, I think we have to fill in some details of Michonne from the comic book, and we kind of have to assume that she's going to be almost the same character, very close to it. She's a pretty big badass. I mean, she was a lawyer before all this happened. She's got a badass katana blade she uses very well, very skilled with the katana. But she was sort of a damsel in distress once in the comic book when she got captured by the governor. But then afterwards, she kind of redeemed herself by going back after him again. And then later on, we get to see she almost takes him out a couple times, but ends up, leaving him to survive, so to speak. So, I don't know, man. This is a tough topic for me to decide. Okay. Obviously, subjective. In my opinion, I gotta say, I think the bigger badass out of the two, I'm gonna have to go with Daryl Dixon. I'm gonna have to go with Daryl. I mean, Michonne's badass. She's badass, but Daryl is badass. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Okay, thumbs up if you agree with me. Thumbs down if you think Michonne's a bigger badass. That's it for this video, guys. See you for the next one. Later. Peace. Oh, and any more video requests or suggestions, write them down below. And if they're good, I will do them. I promise you that. Later, guys. Peace.